Hello and welcome back to Story Science with DJ Finley. I am, of course, your hostess, DJ Finley. Please ignore any background noises you hear. This is
impromptu. She didn't want to do this.
This is a car video. We just finished watching Shang-Chi and I didn't think I would survive to set up the studio.
Okay, so, Essi here.
Oh yeah, and this is not perfect, salvageable, or try. Oh, it will end up that way.
Probably.
This is what did we watch? This should be a new segment. This should be a car video segment.
Yes.
Where we go and see a movie, sit in the car, and say, what did we watch?
How do we start this? Do you want me to...
Oh, you said you were going to start it with saying that the only movies we've seen in theater since the pandemic have been Chinese or Asian Disney films. Unfortunately, that's true.
It seems like every recent Disney film we've seen has been an Asian Disney film. Like, because we saw Mulan at home. We rented it. And then we saw Raya in the theaters. And then we watched Shang-Chi. And it's like... Okay, we need to break out a formula here. This is not going to be the entire podcast. Please, no. I refuse.
As I was watching Disney Asian films.
Disney trying to pull off an Asian movie and me saying, please stop.
I agree with the drinker. It's like,
yeah, if you want to know what this movie's kind of like, watch Critical Drinker, because he kind of explains it. It's this movie, but it's also this movie.
Yeah,
it's this movie.
My brain didn't know what was it? Because it was like watching a more put together version of. I'm gonna take my seatbelt off. We're parked. Don't worry. I'm not irresponsible.
No.
It was like a more coherent Rise of Skywalker.
I guess you could kind of call it that.
It was so fast, my brain hurt. And so we were leaving. We went and saw it with Essie's boyfriend.
Yeah.
And I was trying to figure out like what happened. And so I asked him, and he started describing the story. Started telling me what the story was about. And he was talking about Shang-Chi's dad.
You're not even Shang-Chi, just his
dad. He
dad.
didn't talk about Shang-Chi. He just said, like, his dad, like, this guy has these rings, he's been alive for a couple thousand years, and I'm sitting there going, like, dude, the person you are talking about should be the main character.
Yeah.
And Shang-Chi's dad is supposed to be the villain? Which means there wasn't really a villain.
He was too puppy to be the villain.
What was he?
I mean, the thing is...
Okay, I have to agree with everybody. I could not believe this guy ran this terror organization.
No. Okay, if you had it where his dad was, let's think of another person who's not Donnie Yen. Like, Yo Chung Fat, whatever his name is.
No, I'm not even talking about the actor.
I know that, but the character is like, okay, because the guy had too much of a puppy face, for my liking. Like, he could look intimidating at moments, but he had too much of a puppy face for most of it. And he sold too much of the grieving husband for me to believe he was a crime lord. Like, even pre-meeting wifey, he didn't look like a crime lord. He was kind of looking like this guy who was trying really hard to look serious.
My problem was, okay, I could have bought him, because I have met people in real life who are, like, they don't look intimidating, but then you spend some time with them and you're just like, oh, you're a piece of insert word. This is a family-friendly channel.
Yes.
You know, so I was okay with the actor. My issue was the way he was written.
Oh, yeah.
Actually, I could take him more seriously when he had the long hair. It was when he cut his hair. That's when I was like, wow, you...
Chinese businessman.
Puppy Chinese businessman. But, like, when he had the long hair, I could take him seriously. Like, okay, like in the flashback with the, like in ancient times when he had the rings and he goes and does the whole thing, I could take him pretty seriously then. But his whole thing, like, you talk about how dangerous this guy is, and, oh, he attacks them, and, oh, he takes their necklaces, and then it's like, family reunion! My wife is dead, but don't worry, I figured out how to get her back. And I'm like, I'm sorry, what is this show? Because the first part of this movie is actually not that bad. Okay, no, right. Correction. The part when Shang-Chi wakes up, gets mad at his alarm clock, to when they get picked up by their dad is not that bad. If you cut out all the backflashes, if you just cut out everything that shows any mystical kung fu magic stuff, if you cut out all that stuff and you kept it very grounded with, I'm basically the son of the Chinese mafia.
Yeah.
It wasn't that bad. Actually, I was like, oh, okay, cool. Your dad is an evil piece of crap, and your sister, I actually didn't mind her being really good at kung fu, teaching herself. I actually did not mind that, because I thought that kind of worked well with the whole, like, their mom's from magical place, so maybe she was kind of like that, but they didn't play into that.
No.
I actually really like the sisters' she built this whole organization, and she was like their dad in personality, but she was like their mom in, like, other things, and then you had, like, the switch where, Shang-Chi was like their mom in personality, but their dad in, like, other things. Mm-hmm. So I actually liked that dynamic between the brother and sister. And it was just when you got to the dad, and then he's like, I want to bring back my dead wife. I was like, hold on. What is this movie about? And then we end with this CGI fight scene.
Which was
I was saying
seizure-inducing in parts, because I couldn't focus on anything.
I couldn't focus on anything either, besides thinking, wow, everyone's right, the CGI looks really bad.
Oh, yeah. There were parts that's like,
the CGI looks so bad.
You put this to... Oh, my gosh.
Yeah. You spent money on that. You didn't spend enough money on that.
No.
Yeah, so, like, there was actually quite a bit I didn't hate, like, at the beginning, like, that one part. If you took out the magic mumbo-jumbo... Mm-hmm. I actually feel like I kind of like this movie. If it was more grounded, and I kind of wish the 10 rings was actually like we have 10 places of base, because there's what, 7 continents?
Yeah.
Or like he took over. Also, they said he took over the world, like, and changed history as we know it. I'm like, no, it didn't.
Club, dude.
No, it didn't. No one did.
I mean, I agree with a lot of people who reviewed this movie who are like, yeah, how many secret organizations do we have that have been changed in the course of history? You think they'd be fighting each other and everyone would have blown the planet by now?
Yeah. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah. Yeah. That's
do you remember anything else?
Okay, that's like a lot. All right. I should have took it. I actually had a notebook. Or have a notebook. It's in my purse right now. I was so close to pulling it out. I started writing down, kind of like what Shad has. If you watch Shadiversity, he did that for The Rise of Skywalker. I almost did that for this movie, but I had to pay attention to the film.
Yeah, there's no... You blink, you miss things. It's so quick.
Yeah, it's like... Okay, so this film, my biggest problem with it is that there was no through line.
No.
Because every character has their own little unique thing about them, and also, like, they didn't build up anything. Like, this movie is so fast... And they didn't put any thought, or at least it felt like they didn't put any thought, into what scenes they did have. The only scene I actually kind of liked, to be honest, because it's like, okay, it's setting up stuff that we're going to need to have paid off, which they slightly paid off. So, basically, characters who aren't going anywhere. Okay, so, really quick with that. My protagonist in my one story, his thing is he doesn't know what he wants to do. He's 14 years old and doesn't know what he wants. He's the only character in the story who doesn't know what he wants. That's his point.
Mm-hmm. He's a 14-year-old boy.
And that's the first book. And the other ones, he figures it out and goes after it. So he's no longer that.
Okay.
But he's the only character. Everyone else has I know what I want, and I'm going to try and do what I can to do that thing. He's the only person who doesn't have a thing, and he realizes that, and realizes, I gotta get a thing. Mm-hmm. That's his motivation and goal. Thing, because I got tired of people saying your character has to have a goal, otherwise they're boring. So I thought, well, why not I make their goal? They need to find a goal.
Because you're like that.
It actually works. So, you know.
Okay.
Yeah, so that's what... Right, my point with that with Shang-Chi is the fact that no one had a goal. No. Like, the sister actually had a goal, but it did nothing. It had nothing to do with the story, it had nothing to do with the personality. You could actually take her goal, throw it out the window. Everyone's goals could be thrown out the window. The only person whose goal mattered was the dad. And I think that's why Essi's boyfriend mentioned the dad.
Yeah.
Because he was the only character who had a goal that had anything to do with the plot.
That had consequences for everybody else.
Yeah. And no one else's goal. I don't even really know what their goal was. What was Shang-Chi's goal? Where was he go? When the beginning of the movie, what did he want?
Stay irrelevant.
You know, because... It would have been... Okay, because the scene I liked, which has to do with this, is when he's picking up Awkwafina and to go to work. Mm-hmm. And everybody's, it's family life, everything's happening, very standard family. I have a family, I live at home. I totally get this part. Yeah. And then the grandma asks when they're going to get married. This would have worked if he was like, heck yeah, I want some of that. Mm-hmm. But Awkwafina is just kind of not ready for marriage yet. Mm-hmm. And so yeah, it would have worked really well if before that scene, it has showed he wants an actual relationship, but she's not quite ready. Mm-hmm. You know, which would have worked. She feels like she hasn't lived. Mm-hmm. You know, she wants to go off and do everything and be everything, and you know, she doesn't want to settle down and basically be what her mom is. Yeah. You know, but if it had shown that he wants that, he wants her. He wants some of that. He's like, I want you. I want to be in a relationship with you. If the first part of the movie had shown, I want to be in an actual couple with you.
Or aka, I want normal life and you will help me get there. Well, okay, that's
I'm getting there. Okay. His whole thing needs to be, in the beginning of the movie, to get rid of all that backstory stuff. Oh my gosh. There's a reason prologues are, like, iffy in books. Mm-hmm. People skip over that because you actually really don't need it. Especially since they're going to tell you everything again later in the movie. I lost count of exposition scenes at 4. Yeah. I know I counted up to 4. Which is funny
basically
because...
Basically made another movie within a movie.
Oh, they did. Anyway, and so the whole thing is that it would have worked really well if his whole thing's like, I want a normal life. Mm-hmm. I want to be married. I want to have children. I want a decent job where I don't have to kill people. Mm-hmm. You know, I want to put my past completely behind me and starting. I'm in America. He goes to freaking America. Mm-hmm. He should be like, I am a whole new man. I am everything, you know, but he can't quite kick who he is. And so I like the whole, like, it shows him doing push-ups and stuff. It showed him like doing a couple like workout stuff, you know, and doing things, and he's kind of like, he has really good reflexes and stuff. He can't quite throw his past behind. Mm-hmm. You know, that would have been a really good way of like showing that. I did like the bus scene. Yeah. I'll be honest. I actually liked that. I actually didn't hate him and Awkwafina. No? Awkwafina was not the worst part of this movie. I was actually shocked.
I was worried because everyone kept saying she was the worst bit. Maybe it just have a different taste. But...
The only reason I feel like she was... I could see how people thought of her as the worst bit was because everybody was in the same boat as her. Whereas, like, we're kind of here because the plot told us to be here. Yeah. They didn't really have a point to be here. But she was actually the most grounded character because she wasn't grounded. That was her whole point. She wasn't grounded. She's not ready for a relationship because she's not grounded and, you know, prepared for a relationship, because a lot has to go into relationships and she's not ready to take on that responsibility. And so it would have been interesting because, like, his whole thing should have been, I want a normal life. I want nothing to do with the 10 rings. Mm-hmm. And then he kind of feels like, oh, I have to protect my sister. Mm-hmm. And so he goes to protect his sister. I liked his sister had her empire. I actually liked the empire because it showed she is like their dad. She has the ruthlessness and the business savviness of their dad. Mm-hmm. And her whole thing should have been, well, okay, I built my own empire. Kind of a thing. And showed how different these two are. So when you meet the dad, and then when you finally find out about the parents and everything, you find out that Shang-Chi, personality-wise, is their mom, and his sister, personality-wise, is their dad. Mm-hmm. That would have, like, worked so nicely. But the moment we met their dad, I felt like everything prior to that part, when their dad takes them back to his hidden compound, was pointless. Okay. Because the sister never brought up again that she wants about her fighting MMA empire. For the
you go girl moment in her bedroom.
Yeah, but that was just this you go girl, like, oh, that's cool, you did something.
Yeah, that didn't really do anything.
You know, it's not like she's frustrated that, like, you know, I want to get back to that. I want to get off this place.
Also, by the way, we did not stay for the sister ending credit scene.
Oh, there's a sister ending.
Apparently there's another one. So we didn't stay that long. We only watched the first
with Captain Marvel.
Scene with, Marvel and Banner and everything. So if we miss details with that, we missed that.
Well, I'm talking about the movie.
I know.
I don't care about the advertisements. I'm talking about the movie. Okay. But yeah, so the whole movie felt like it changed to, oh, now we're trying to get back your momsy, and there's a gate involved, and you got an auntie who we did not bring up earlier, and also the aunt's talking about, like, she lived 2 blocks down from their mom. Because she's, like, talking about, like, she knew about her niece and nephew, and their mom told her to make them armor, which somehow she got their measurements. And they're... and it's like their aunt's talking to them like she lived 2 blocks down the street. Yeah. And she knows all this stuff, and by the way, Shang-Chi was, like, freaking 7. when his mom died, and now he's like in his 20s, and she has like this suit of armor for him, and she's like, your mom wanted me to make you a gift for when you came here, and I'm like, what? You made a freaking... Okay, a weapon would make sense.
Yeah.
But armor? Also, that armor is basically mithril.
Yeah.
Anyone else notice that?
Basically.
It's basically mithril.
Yeah, red mithril.
Yeah, it's mithril. You don't know that? Shame on you. But yeah, it's like, okay. I just sat there like looking like...
my biggest thing is like, you got dragon skills. Okay, there's only one dragon in the area, and...
Where did you get those? It did not mention...
Did it fall off the dragon, or did you rip them off the dragon? What happened?
I don't know, but I'm just like, what the heck? Okay, so... Where are we in this story?
You were on second thing.
Also, they have this whole thing. I'm guessing it's supposed to show his dad's lost it, but I couldn't tell if their dad lost it or not. That's how good this movie was. I couldn't tell where their dad was in mentality. Because there's this part where their dad's like, you just stood there and watched your mom die. And I'm like, he was 7? And according to the multiple flashbacks I had to suffer through... He said you didn't train him till after his mother died. So, what did you want him to do? I'm assuming that was supposed to tell us that his dad's lost it.
Yeah.
I hope.
Maybe, but
also, that's the dumbest thing a parent could ever say to their kid.
They had to have a tension moment to make Shang-Chi go kamikaze.
That was dumb.
I know it was dumb.
That was
saying
dumb.
That was the reason it was there.
Also, they missed an opportunity for a really bad A-line.
Oh no, what?
Okay, so you know how his dad's like, he says something about, like, I can see you're scared of me. You're scared to fight me or something, and then he blasts Shang-Chi, and Shang-Chi, like, stops himself with a stick, and then they fight each other. When Shang-Chi's standing over him and does the whole, do you really think mom would want to be with you line, instead of saying that, which I'm just like, all you're going to do is take off your dad, he's not going to listen to you. What he should have said is, I'm not trembling because I'm scared of you, I'm trembling because I'm ashamed of you.
Yeah. Pull the shame card.
Because when you're upset about someone or something, that has like a similar, not exactly the same, but like a similar, like, physical reaction. Negative emotions. I have emotions to stars. I've noticed that negative emotions have very similar physical things. And so I'm just like, why the crap didn't you stand over your dad with your little sticky thing and say, I'm not scared of you, I'm ashamed of you?
Yeah.
That would have been way stronger than, do you really think mom would want you after what you've done? I'm like, dude, she married the idiot after he conquered the world. What has he done different? And then he's like, my mom would be also, Shang-Chi's talking about how he killed the dude who killed his mom. And then he says, my mom would be so ashamed of me. She married the guy who took over the world. And he's a ruthless crime lord. What did you do?
You killed one dude who killed her. Yeah.
Also, he went right back to his old ways. The same night she died, practically.
Yeah.
He didn't change that much.
No. He tried, but no.
I'm like, hold on. All right. Because you have the village elders being like, we didn't banish her from here. We didn't want you here. I'm like,
one of my favorite lines.
The village elders, they have a point.
One of my favorite parts of the movie was when they're basically telling him, yeah, you weren't wanted here, and his dad goes, oh, well, you shut up, you young man. And it's like, because it's this old guy, and you have young-looking Shang-Chi's dad, and it's like, okay, I do like this character. I'm really sorry about how you were written, because I really wanted your movie, or at least, like, a better version of this movie.
I want this to be a TV. Okay, what's up with all these movies being like the highlight reel of a TV show?
I don't know.
Because that's what all these movies feel like to me, is just a TV show highlight reel.
Well, it's Marvel. That's a step for the next movie.
I mean, it's like, you can't pick a story and just, like, go with it.
Of course not. That'd be too predictable.
Oh my gosh. It's like, oh man, I don't even know. I mean, that's my problem. It's like, I'm not entirely sure what I watched because I don't know what the story was that I was seeing.
I think the problem is that I liked some of the setups of this movie. I liked the idea of you have this little kid who was raised at 7 to murder the person who...
Son of Crime Boss was a good film.
Yeah, Son of Crime Boss, and then once he does the one hit that he actually cared about, he's like, I don't want to keep doing this.
Because the blood thing was already paid.
Yeah.
If you're going by, like, ancient tradition, his dad is right. You avenge blood with blood. Like, that is what a lot of cultures have done.
Yeah.
You know,
and then like
a lot of people have done that.
The one thing I really did like, at least to set up for it, I was really mad there was not much lead up to it. Mm-hmm. But the one where he is sitting with Awkwafina and he says, "Yeah, I lied to you. I actually did kill the guy." That scene was actually well acted. Like, kudos to both those guys. Like that was actually a really well done scene.
Yeah, Awkwafina wasn't that bad.
But I wanted to actually mean something. Like, you see this guy, he's been fighting with himself for the whole movie because he is a lethal weapon. I was like...
And he did kill someone.
And he did kill a guy. Like, he actually killed a guy. He went through...
Which I thought was hilarious, because also, I liked Awkwafina's reaction, because she was like, well, your dad did all this, so... I'm like, she has a point. Compared to your dad, you're a drop in the bucket.
You're like nothing. But it's like, also, that this is another thing, like, every time we ran into somebody else, we had a cooler movie. Like, you find out, my sister built a cage fight ring at the age of 16. Wanted that movie. My dad basically conquered the world, but did a secret, like, now has been, like, incognito and has this giant crime organization. Wanted that movie. My entire, like, thing where I'm a living weapon, and I've been trying to, like, stay under the radar, but now I have to come out of hiding and protect my sister. Wanted that movie. Like,
no, we got soul-snatching demons and a dragon.
Yeah, it sucked.
Like, the ending... The ending, it's one of those weird, okay, I've noticed this a lot in, like, recent storytelling. This is where I think the whole concept of bringing balance to the Force kind of fits. It's, if you have a big setup, you need a big payoff. Okay. If you have a little setup, you can have a little payoff. Or you can have a little setup that comes into a big, you can have a little setup that comes into a big payoff, and a big setup that comes into a big payoff, okay? You cannot have a big setup and little payoff, okay? This is what I'm talking about. Little setup, 10 rings, he stole them from something. Mm-hmm. Everyone says he found... See, the dialogue said... Okay, alright, FYI, I've studied a little bit of Chinese. I am not fluent.
Oh, no.
I am zero fluent. But I understand enough that I was able to, like, just kind of skim... read. I could skim it. Okay, so I think I misread a couple things, but so correct me if I misread anything, alright? This is why I have Essie here. She's here to correct me, because I know I'm going to get things wrong. Alright, whatever. Alright. It said that he stole the rings from a tomb, or he found them in, like, a rock or something.
Basically, origin unclear.
Yeah, he got the rings somehow. Mm-hmm. I was expecting that to come into play at the end, because he got the rings from something. Okay, so this is what I'm talking about. Alright, that is a little setup. That little line right there, that is a little setup. Little setups are good for big payoffs. There is nothing wrong with a little setup for a big payoff, okay? The big payoff has to have something to do with the setup. Because they're talking about, the 10 rings are the only things that are powerful enough to destroy this gate that will release the big baddie thing. First off, there's way too many big baddie things that can destroy the world. If there were that many big bad things that could destroy the world would be destroyed.
Yeah.
Fun fact.
Like, I know you're a comic book place, but... honestly,
the world would be destroyed.
Yeah.
End of story. It would be destroyed. Or, the human race as we know it never would have happened. We all would have been like, Wakanda, or that one fight place thing. We would not be living in ignorance. There is no reason to keep the human race in ignorance.
Nope.
If there are that many world-destroying monsters, why the crap is the world in this much ignorance? This is one of the reasons that makes no sense. You know, because especially when they're talking to their friends about, like... Because, like, I'm watching this movie, and it's just, like, they're talking to their friends at the end of the movie about, like, look what we did. And they're like, you're mocking us? I'm like, no. If there are that many things out to kill the human race, you should all know about it.
I mean, you referenced the freaking snap.
Yeah, you're just like, maybe this is possible. Maybe? You should be, after the Marvel movies, you guys should not be acting the way you are. Like, everyone is acting in this movie like people act nowadays.
Yeah.
They should not be acting the way we are currently acting.
No.
You know, you guys survived Thanos, you guys, like, survived all these things, you guys survived living in the Marvel Universe.
You survived having New York getting blown up every 5 minutes.
Yeah, you guys survived all of this. There's nothing surprising to you anymore. Nothing. At all. But it's like, okay, so, like, the 10 rings thing, little setup, the payoff needs to make sense with that somewhere, because the 10 rings, the first part of this movie, did not set up the ending of this movie. How do I know the first part of this movie didn't set up the end of this movie? Because we got an exposition scene during the third act of the movie.
Yeah.
If you have an exposition scene or any moment where your characters are trying to throw in information that you did not gather earlier, you need to rethink the plots. Because, fun fact about the third act, there should not be exposition or new characters.
No.
And people are like, well, it's okay, we'll just quickly shoehorn some stuff in. No. The third part, the last part of the movie, the climax of the movie, is supposed to be, we know what's going on, we know the stakes, we know what we're up against, we know, what everything is. Now we just gotta defeat the bad guy. That's the third part of your story. Alright? If you have to give exposition in the third act of your story, you need to go and rethink the plots. Or at least how you're structuring it. Because I felt like this whole movie was out of order. I mean, okay, to give you an idea on how out of order this movie was, we watched a freaking Stephen Grew movie. If you don't know who Stephen Grew is, look him up. We were talking about one of his films. We need to record that.
Yeah, we need to record
that movie. We will get all right, now we have to record
that.
Yeah,
we have to. We mentioned it.
It's called Unexpected Race. And Essie was telling me how that movie felt like it was out of order. Compared to this movie, that movie's in chronological order.
Oh yeah, compared to that one.
Or it's decent story structure order. And Stephen Grew cannot tell a story for crap. But at least he understands, relevant information, kind of.
This point.
Yeah, this should happen here, this should happen here. Mm-hmm. You know, at least you know you're getting close to the end of the movie when you're watching one of his films. This one, I felt like I was sitting there for 4 hours.
Yeah.
And it was because I'm sitting there watching the ending, and the reason the ending had zero impact on me is because there was nothing leading to this ending. No. It just kind of led there. With a lot of exposition. The whole film, most of the movies I've seen recently is exposition the movie.
Yeah. It's like every movie nowadays.
Yeah, it's and I've even seen this bleed into books, too. I'm having a really hard time reading a lot of books nowadays because it's just exposition the book. And I know what you're all thinking. You know, it's well, isn't that what storytelling is? No, exposition is when you have to dump a whole bunch of information at once very clunkily. That is exposition.
It's the I know you have questions moment.
Yeah. And you do not say, good question for another time. You should never say that.
Screw you, Orange Beach Ball.
Yeah, screw you, Beach Ball. Yeah, so it's oh my gosh. What is this movie? But it's yeah. So basically my point is okay, so there's a 10 rings thing. That there's a little setup that you get a big payoff at the end. A big setup that should get a big payoff at the end is the freaking will they won't they relationship between him and Awkwafina. Now you're probably thinking, well, that has nothing to do with saving the world. That has everything to do with their characters. His whole thing should be, I want a normal life. That normal life is Awkwafina. Mm-hmm. You know, and maybe the reason he is attracted to her is because he was raised with that whole, crime-fighting boss thing. So a girl who's kind of wild is someone who he can actually handle. Mm-hmm. And also they show him looking very timid about stuff. He should be able to handle her. Mm-hmm. Considering everything he's been through. Mm-hmm. But it's because maybe you could have it where he's not so much he's constantly freaking out about the stuff she does. It should be he's more disciplined than her. And so he tries to have a strong hand in the relationship.
He fakes it, but you can see he's actually just putting up a front half the time.
But I think I like the idea of can be more disciplined, and she kind of breaks him out of it. He should kind of be enjoying. He's scolding her the whole time, but you can see he's enjoying the Ferrari ride or whatever the sports car was. I didn't notice the make. Mm-hmm. But he should he could be scolding her, but you can tell he's scolding her, he's actually having fun.
I mean, the fact he does put up with the karaoke, it's come on. Yeah, it's
he puts up with her because he likes her and he wants her to be herself, but he still has that very disciplined background. I think that would have worked really well, with him, and having him show a very disciplined background, but he tries to put up a I'm the nice harmless guy. He really needed some better dialogue.
Oh yeah.
Also, all the dialogue in this film, I couldn't find a single line in this film that wasn't exposition. Because even his girlfriend's I've known you for this long. Come on, we've been friends for this. Who says that?
You knew me for 10 years.
I don't even know how long I've known half my friends. I don't sit there counting how long I've been with my friends. Mm-hmm.
You have to say something like that. It's after all this time, really? Or something like that.
Seriously, you've known me how long?
Yeah.
That's all you have to say. I don't have to know how long.
No.
Because the movie told me later how long it's been. It's been 10 years. Everyone keeps telling you it's been 10 years. Oh, okay, got it. Got it. Right, got it. 10 years.
Beautiful day.
Yeah. Got it. You know, that's the reason. Okay, this is another thing. You can always tell your dialogue exposition-y if your characters are constantly repeating the same information.
Yeah.
That's a clue. Trust me. It's a really good clue. But yeah, that is a huge clue that your dialogue is probably really bad, is if your characters are constantly rehashing the plot, or you're constantly bringing up new plot points. Because you can actually say a lot with very little.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like saying, how long have you known me? You know, and how the character reacts to that sentence.
Also,
tells us how long they've known each other.
backflashes with mom, you could have actually had their, like, relationship more. Also, you have this whole scene with her.
Also, everything was a motivational speech.
Oh my gosh.
Their mom was nothing but a motivational speech coach.
Yeah. And then her aunt kind of took.
And there's also all this. Okay. Also, this is another thing that drives me crazy, where it's like the person walks away from all of their power, and then they get freaking killed. And it's like, you know, if you kept your power, because it was like, there's nothing more important than family. Well, clearly there's something more important than family. You didn't die before you had the family. So it's like, you know, because their whole thing is like, look, family.
Also, you didn't think maybe we should have more security, because I did have made a million enemies?
Yeah, it's like, if I had only kept the rings, I'm like, or if you maybe, like, I don't know, how to Google House or something. Like,
I mean,
because
apparently it's at the same place that your hidden base is now. Not so hidden, is it?
I did not realize. Oh my!
They're living in the same house. Everyone now knows your address, you idiot. I guess now you have better security because you have like scissor hands or what the frick is this?
Yeah, that's such. Oh my! Oh, it's the same spot. I didn't realize that.
Well, the same.
This is why Essie has to go see these movies with me.
I mean, if that were else, he just built the same house with the exact same stuff, the exact same place.
The exact same tunnels with his daughter.
The exact same tunnels. So some everything. Oh my god! But
right by the dangerous bamboos forest.
Yeah, right by the bamboo forest of death. But my biggest thing is that I mostly, when I walked out of the theater, one thing I said to Finley was I would like this movie if they took all the Marvel stuff out. She's like, well, it's all Marvel stuff.
Yeah, which part? Be more specific.
But like, if you took, if it was very much like, this is about a crime boss family, maybe you have some mystical elements. I don't know. Don't care. It has mystical elements, but it's like very much like kid escaping past, because the one speech I kind of liked that never tied back in was when Michelle Yeoh talks to Shang-Chi about, you can't get rid of both, about all of you. You have to embrace your good and your bad sides. And stuff like that. Like, if someone actually write a freaking story where you have to use both of your skills at the same time to beat the bad guy, please tell me where these are, because honestly, everyone keeps throwing out crap. But it was all about, like, you have to embrace that you are this big badass, but you also have to do more balance and stuff. Like, you have to learn, like, to open your hands and stuff, because there's a whole open the hands thing. It's like, stuff like that, and then he has to face and then he has to, like, no, the only way to end this is to kill my dad, then find a way not to kill his dad, or something. I don't know, but, like, go martial artist movie, but actually embrace your martial artist
Also,
movie.
what did his mom see in his dad?
I know! It's okay, she whipped your butt!
They're all talking about how wonderful his Bemsy is, and I'm like, she's this wonderful person who married one of the biggest a-holes in the universe? What?
Yep.
Someone, like, she turned the biggest bad A in the universe into a guy who chills and watches Netflix with his family. like, what am I watching? Okay, I need that too.
I want that movie.
I need that film. But yeah, it's like, yeah, and also it's like, they're talking about, like, well, because when the bad guys come, they're humans. These are normal humans. They beat up this mystical lady person who gave up her powers to get married and have kids. And she's talking about how, like, she gave up her powers to have something more important. And I'm like, well, according to your sister, when we get to Magic Place, you weren't exactly giving up anything. You could have had your powers and your family, because clearly you can find a guy there.
Mm-hmm.
Get married and have kids.
So why this guy?
Yeah. That's basically my point. It's like, okay, so you give your power so you could get killed in the most Disney style. With
not a blemish on her.
Her hair is done. It's immaculate.
Her face
Her
is
white
amazing.
clothes are white. There's no tear. There is nothing, like,
you can even have her, like, face down in the snow. You're like, she has to be on her back.
Also, like, laid out, peacefully.
Yeah. And she just got beat up. And maybe more.
And her kid's just slightly tapping her.
Yeah, her kid's like
He's not even like holding her or something, or like cleaning to her
one thing
in any way.
I want to spec, because, like, I really want, because I like sibling relationships and stories, I really want more of the relationship between the brother and sister.
Yeah.
Especially, like, during that part, like, the mom point-blank says, protect your sister. And so that's one of the reasons he didn't go there, because he's, like, either blocking his sister from watching this, or, like, just
where was the sister this whole time?
Yeah, what was she doing? She just played in the back room while this was happening.
Probably.
And then, like, do something. That way you can see, like, I didn't need you. Because that would hurt. Like, he did all this stuff to protect his little sister. And
he's always felt like he was protecting his sister.
Yeah, and then she says, no, I didn't need you. You ran off, you little twerp.
Yeah.
And stuff like, actually make that hurt.
I had to, like, I had to be strong on my own.
Something like that, like...
You ran away to America.
There was not enough scenes. There was, like, no scenes.
Actually, okay.
The two of them.
Okay, alright, there was... Okay. It wasn't that there were too many scenes. Like, cause this movie...
There were no quiet scenes between the two. They never had, like, a time they actually sat and talked. The only time they sat and talked was when...
The whole Empire scene should not... The whole I built my own empire scene that the sister says should not have been to Awkwafina. That should have been to her brother. Mm-hmm. You know, when they go to talk before the bad guys attack, or the 10 ring dudes attack after the fight. So they had this cage fight. Mm-hmm. And this is the most incoherent thing about... Oh. Yeah. Go watch them... Okay. Wait till it's free on Disney Plus. Watch the movie, come back. Okay, so after he gets reunited with his sister after 10 years. And then after the fight, he says he's not going to fight her. And they meet up in her office area. And they're talking. That whole part of I went and built an empire should have happened there. Mm-hmm. Or around there. Actually, they should have just slowed the crap down and let him spend some time at the fight club.
Yeah.
With his sister, and she says that at some point.
Yeah, it got destroyed like way too.
I needed to see her empire.
Yeah.
All we saw was an office building that was under construction. And I'm like, okay, cool. Is this, like, are you keeping up with the construction persona? I'm assuming.
Assuming so.
You are? Or is this actually under construction? And, like, you're gonna have, like, this cool MMA. Mm-hmm. Yeah, but this is, like, illegal or something, but it's like, I don't know. I don't know. Actually, I would like some more information on this. But yeah, so it's like, we had nothing between the siblings. Mm-hmm. We had nothing about the romance. And I'm not saying this because I'm a girl. I mean, I'm okay with, I can watch a movie that doesn't have a romance in it. Yeah. I watched several movies that I very much enjoy that don't have romances in them. But the point is, you have freaking Awkwafina there, whose her entire point is she is his girlfriend. Or could be girlfriend. Yeah. She is that normal life he wants. She is the entire symbolic, physical, there symbol of what he wants. Mm-hmm. And also, he could have been a great parallel to his dad. Yeah. You know, he has that dark past. He meets this girl who is clean of that, has none of this. But, she's... Because his mom comes from a whole warrior race. So you could say that could have some impact on the guy she chooses, because she's from I'll get to that. She's from an entire race of people, or whoever they are, group of people who fight. So maybe she sees him as a great prize because he has all of this, but then her village hates him. So that was very unclear. So then they didn't know each other that there's more. So there's that, and plus whatever relationship they did have. Yeah, but like, because girls like guys who they feel like can protect them and support them and stuff. But she whipped his butt. So she whipped his butt. So it's like that doesn't really help with that. But I'm just saying that there could have been a cool parallel between Shang-Chi and his dad, where they both went after pure women who haven't done anything like they have done. Mm-hmm. And they both want to put aside, because like Shang-Chi's dad at one point in his life wanted to put aside everything he'd done and just have a family and grow old and live happily ever after. And that's what Shang-Chi wants. There should have been a scene between father and son discussing that. Even if it's like in a threatening way, where like Daddy's threatening Awkwafina. Yeah, and it's like your son is doing what you did. Yeah. Many years ago, 20-ish years ago. And you're not going to notice that? You're not going to be like, this girl's not worthy of you, and you could be like, why? Because she doesn't have a kill count? And also, I don't know what the chemistry was between mom and dad, because his mom comes from a group of people where everyone learns to fight. Mm-hmm. Guys and girls, okay? Also, I guess it's a matriarchal society because they mothers and fathers, sisters and brothers. When it should be fathers and mothers, brothers and sisters. Yeah. Whatever. I probably shouldn't comment on that.
Semantics. Got it.
All right. Yeah, it seemed very matriarchal in the other world. But I was trying to figure out, okay, why does this culture train the guys and the girls? Because I kind of have to side with most people who say, why would you have girls in a war? I'm a girl asking this question. A 5 foot, barely weighs anything girl. Well, 5'2", technically. But add my 2 inches in there. I would be crap in a war. Fun fact. I admit it. I have done MMA. I have done martial arts. I would be crap in a war. I'm actually a very good shot, though. I could probably be a sniper. But, like, I'm sitting there looking at these girls. I mean, I've been to Asia. China, Tibet, Taiwan. I've been there. I was stocky. All right? That's literally what people called me when I was over there. I'm stocky. I do not look... I am extra petite in America. If I'm stocky in China, these girls don't stand a chance. All right? And so I'm sitting there going like, maybe don't. Yeah. Also, another thing. Auntie mentions that they have basically Wakanda in their realm.
Yeah.
She's like, our cities are far more impressive than anything you could have.
Well, that was before the giant pearl people eaters attack.
First off, why the crap haven't you been breeding? Are you guys spending so much time fighting, your girls are full of testosterone? No, seriously. Alright? If you guys used to have cities that would put New York to shame, or any other, like, amazing... I'm pretty sure there's a city more interesting than New York. Beijing, Shanghai, any of these. Like, if you guys had cities... Also, where's the wreckage?
It probably got grown over. This was like half a centuries ago. It's a nice little wall art telling you the past. Again.
Yeah.
Lots of exposition.
It should have been called Shang-Chi and the Legend of Exposition. Of 10 expositions.
10 exposition scenes. The problem was...
AKA the whole movie. Anyway, but yeah, so I'm like, okay, so this happened 1,000 years ago, right? She said 1,000 years ago. Or I'm going to say 1,000. They were 4,000. No, they were 4,000 years. His dad was 1,000 years. Okay, so she says this all happened 4,000 years ago. Where's the breeding? If you guys had cities that were cooler than New York 4,000 years ago, they got wiped out, why wasn't the first thing you guys did was start breeding?
Especially if you have to defend against giant tentacle monsters.
You have a cute little village that is smaller than the village I stayed in Tibet.
That's embarrassing.
And that place was teeny. Alright? Like, what were you doing? Are these the same people? Are these the same people from 4,000 years ago? Then his dad's like, whole, you're younger than me, boy. No. If you guys are generations later, you guys are idiots for making your girls do that. You can train them to fight, fine. But, yeah, you'd have a very patriarchal society.
One thing I noticed...
That's the first thing you'd be doing. Is like, girls, I know what you're here for.
Wait a second.
What?
Were there any kids in that town?
Yes, there were kids.
There were kids?
There were kids. How do I know there were kids? Because we brought back Trevor, and he was teaching them how to do stage plays. Also, by the way, the kids disappeared during the fight. Anyone else notice this?
Yeah.
Oh, by the way, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt that they hid the kids somewhere.
Also, Ben Kingsley was one of the best parts.
He was actually the best part of the movie.
That's embarrassing.
I actually did really enjoy
the freaking fake Mandarin was one of the best parts of this movie. That's embarrassing.
He was the worst part in Iron Man. Was it 3?
Yeah.
He's the best part of Shang-Chi.
Yep. That's embarrassing.
Him and the little headless thing.
And was it
Marvin?
What was his name?
What is his name?
The little headless thing.
What was his name?
I would say it's Morris, just for the
Morris. Was it Morris?
Was it Morris?
I don't... Sorry with the name.
That guy.
Yeah. Yeah, Ben Kingsley was the best part of this film, actually. Yeah, he's teaching the kids about drama while everyone else is fighting.
I thought they were doing football.
Well, he's a drama person. Okay, he's probably... Because he said stage left.
Oh, he did? Okay.
Or some stage right, stage left.
Because it was kind of hard to tell, so I wasn't sure if they were trying to learn football or they're doing a play. It was kind of hard to tell.
So they have these tiny children, and he's like... Yeah, you only see the kids, and I think that one scene, maybe another scene. Okay. Maybe another scene. But, like, they keep disappearing whenever action starts.
Okay, well, I guess they know how to...
So maybe the kids have, like, figured this out. But, yeah, and so I'm sitting there going, like, okay, so, alright, let me see if I got this straight. So, you guys had cities, and then you lost your cities. You didn't bother fully repopulating, like, okay, because even if you do the whole, one girl to a guy, which would be really stupid if you had both more girls and guys, it's like, polygamy does serve a point. I'm sorry. Like, this is not me being a conservative a-hole. This is me being logical. All right?
Okay.
And I'm not that conservative. I'm libertarian. But yeah, it's like, no, if these things came and soul snatched all of you, and your whole thing is, we got to protect this scale door, wouldn't you want to build a metropolis?
Mm.
You're not the Amazons. You got guys, you got girls, you got 4 walls. You guys can solve this problem. Okay? Just saying. And it's driving me crazy, because I'm sitting there the whole time being like, there should be more people here. You guys are the whole, like, that thing is destroyed. It's the end of humanity as we know it. Then where is your army? That isn't even, what is a platoon? What is it?
Company?
Whatever it is.
Whatever it is.
It's not,
What's a unit?
You're what? 50 people? At best?
Maybe a couple hundred, even then, like, you're... Like,
no, and then we saw it in the movie. There was like, what, 50? I didn't even bother counting, but like...
I don't know, they kept fluctuating.
That's true. No, that's a good point.
Also, okay, we had a Henry VI moment. For anybody who watched our previous reviews. There was a part in this movie where the advanced cutting through society shows up to crash the party with crossbows!
Crossbows that shoot ropes... Like electric ropes that tie around. They don't even kill you. They
Doesn't shock you.
They just shoot little ropes and they just sit there electrocuting you.
I guess they tickle you to death. I don't know what they do. And I literally started laughing. Like, my boyfriend was looking at me going, what's wrong with you? And
I lost it.
I was just still laughing hysterically. And it's like, we're sorry. Like, we managed to shut up pretty quick. But it was like, wait, what? Why? I think other people have brought this up, but it's like, why do you have crossbows? You can have the machine gun! What is wrong with you guys?
Because Marvel thinks that guns are primitive.
Oh my flipping gosh.
I'm not kidding.
I know that. I know. You told me.
Yeah, I've seen Black Panther. She hasn't seen Black Panther yet. She doesn't have the guts to see Black Panther.
I've seen technically 3 Marvel movies.
Yeah.
All at the beginning.
I asked her if she wanted to see Black Panther. She decided to watch Who Killed Captain Alex, which I think was a better choice. It was also free on YouTube.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so it's like... Oh my gosh. Yeah, and so like the bad guys show up. They have tiger swords, electric taser tiger swords, and crossbows. And they're facing off against an army of about 55,
with
60.
dragon scale spears.
With sticks.
With sticks.
I mean, okay, Shad has an entire video about how the stick is not a bad weapon. Against a gun, I'd say a stick is a bad weapon.
Yeah, push that range.
Oh my goodness! Yeah, like it's so cute. Like you got the people. Also, that would have been actually kind of cool if he had like a machine gun, and the machine gun does nothing against their shields. That actually would make
that would
a
be
shield
really
wall.
interesting. We should have had a standard of like how tough this stuff is.
Like they realize their guns won't do squat against their armor. That actually would have been really cool.
Yeah.
Because then they would have had to use the hooky things.
Yeah.
The tiger swords.
You have to get up close and personal.
Yeah, because he's like, just kill them. Like tap his fingers, just kill them, and they shoot, and they have like a shield wall. Mm-hmm. And does absolutely nothing. In fact, it ricochets and kills a couple of his men.
That'd be funny.
And he's like, oh, we're going to do this old school.
Although, one they did...
Yeah, and then he, like, blasts him with his rings. Well, he didn't even blast him with his rings. I know! He just tells his men, deal with them. And I'm like,
which is very badass,
you deal with them. I mean, it was cool, like, having him walk across the battle.
You just like, you're at work my time.
That was, alright, that was cool, but I saw him, like, blast the one group with his rings. Yeah. And I know he's busy, but it's like, you can spare 2 seconds and blast everybody.
Yeah. Prove your...
At least knock him over, wind him. So your men just have to go in.
Okay, what I did appreciate is that Shang-Chi actually saved the day. Because all the crap he kept getting whipped around this movie, with every other girl, like, whooping his ass. It's like, he actually...
Also, one other thing. Everyone was talking about how, his girlfriend is the bestest ever, or his sister is the bestest ever. Like, first off, we only see his girlfriend shoot one shot.
Yeah.
In the entire fight.
You didn't even see her
because,
lose.
Okay, that's what I thought was funny. They didn't let her go up against his dad's men, but they let her go up against a giant soul-snatching monster.
Priorities!
I thought that was funny. And secondly, okay, yes, she does shoot the monster in the throat, but she doesn't kill him.
No.
And that's the only shot we see her do.
Yeah.
We actually see her on screen do. The other time she just stands there with her mouth open. She didn't do anything. Like, she literally just stands with her mouth open. Mm-hmm. My sister, she did quite a bit. But, like, so they have these training montages. I mean, at least they had, like, a training montage. But I was sitting there watching it, and I'm like, the funny thing is that, okay, speaking of someone who's done martial arts, I'm not great at it. I haven't dedicated as much time to it as I probably should. But, like, the whole time I'm watching the part where they're training at the pretty generic fantasy land, all I'm thinking is what my one jiu-jitsu teacher said, which was, I don't remember the exact number, but it's basically like, it's better to fail against your teacher 10,000 times than it is to win against a bag 20,000 times. Because every time you fail against an opponent, you get stronger because you learn something new. Oh, don't do that. If I feel this kind of a pressure, it's better to do this. If you learn every single time. And if you make the same mistake, you realize, okay, I need to fix this. It's okay to make the same mistake twice. Mm-hmm. There's one thing he mentioned to someone, because I remember he brought it up because somebody made the same mistake multiple times. And the one guy was kind of annoyed with himself, and my teacher was like, look, at the bright side, you recognize that you're making this mistake. Okay? It's not great you're still making it, but at least you recognize it, and each time you do it and you remember it, you're going to get better. And the guy actually did get better several lessons later. He stopped making the same mistake. And what my teacher's point is that when you're training against somebody, which is why sparring is such an important part of learning to do martial arts. And I think that's why I like jiu-jitsu over doing kung fu forms, was because I actually picked up the moves faster. Because I could do 2-man forms. Mm-hmm. And I think the reason I could learn 2-man forms within a week, but I could learn single forms within like 6 months, is because I actually had that thing. I never actually memorized the 2-man forms. It was more, don't get hit. And so I would block, but the logical thing to block was the move you were supposed to make. Mm-hmm. And so I'm sitting there watching Shang-Chi, and my shoulder just popped. So then watching Shang-Chi, and I realize he is actually going to be stronger at the end of this than both chicks, because his sister is facing off against very deadly standing still bamboo, and his girlfriend is shooting at a target that doesn't move.
Yeah.
He is fighting against his auntie.
Yeah. Yeah, one
a teacher. Training. Yeah, he is. Even if she is whooping his ass, he is actually getting much stronger and much more experienced and much better than the girls, because he is getting that one-on-one. Mm-hmm. All right? And I was sitting there watching that, and I'm just like, why aren't the girls getting more, like, actual, like, why doesn't his girlfriend get a moving target to shoot at? Why doesn't
he like the
how come his sister, if his sister is allowed to actually fight out in the open,
she goes to by herself.
Why doesn't she have an opponent?
Yeah, why is everyone like, she's so used to being by herself, she doesn't know what she's doing, like she goes off to do it, and then like someone else like
shows up and like whoops her, and she's like standing there, and he's like, you've only trained against a
or even if like she just joins with the group, so you see her sparring with other people, kind of like how Katie is off doing stuff with a group of people, even though they're all shooting at stationary targets. But it's like she's still with a group. Well, she's not by herself fighting with the bamboo. And it's
and it's not even moving. It's not even like it's on a robot thing or something. Yeah. And so it's just, that's one thing that really like stood out to me and that no one really mentioned. And I think it's because most people who I've watched review this show haven't done martial arts of any kind. And it's just kind of like, it is better to fail and learn, with experience than it is to master something that's not going to make you stronger. It's that weird thing where it's like, because Shang-Chi, I actually didn't mind him getting his butt handed to him, because it did kind of show, these people are more dangerous than him. Mm-hmm. But he should, and I like that you see him getting better against his aunt and everything, but you really should have seen more of a growing progression, where it's like the first people his dad sends after him are his lower lackeys, and he whoops the ground with them. And then, like, it gets stronger and stronger and stronger, so he gets better and better and better and better. Mm-hmm. And, like, I don't know, I just need a through line. Because I don't mind characters getting their butts handed to them, just,
Also, there really wasn't a moment where they lost.
No, not really.
Because they lose their pendants, like, at the very beginning.
There were no story beats.
No.
Anyone notice that?
It was very much events happened.
Stuff happened! It wasn't even events! It was stuff. Like, everything just kind of moved. Like, okay, this is another thing. Why are characters no longer allowed to make decisions?
Nope.
It's just, oh, the plot needs you. Well, guess we're gonna go there. Like, no one made an actual decision. Nothing had weight. I'm not just talking about the fact it was all CGI. Nothing, like, literally had weight. No stakes, no character motivations, nothing.
Okay, what decision?
What was the decision?
I don't know, pick a point.
I don't know. Alright, we're like an hour into this.
I know.
Okay, should I just post this, not even edit it?
Hope not, it's gonna be nasty. Okay.
Okay. Alright, a decision. Alright, Sean.
Okay.
Shang-Chi, for instance. What did he make a decision on? You can't think of one, can you? Maybe I'm gonna go to, what was it? Macau and protect my sister. Maybe that's a decision.
Maybe that. He made the decision to not go home. He made the decision...
I'm talking about in the plot. In the story, in the movie, the here and now part of the movie.
Even then, like, he has to dumb postcards, so that's kind of a prompt. She didn't even, like, go, like, last time I heard about my sister, she was here.
We didn't even know that postcard was from his sister until he just said that.
You just need to show the part with him and his mom making origami to get the stupid origami reference.
Yeah, and it's like... He also doesn't think twice. Some guys attack me around the same time my sister sends me a postcard.
Awkward.
He doesn't think about it.
Yeah, it's not even like it was part of the mail and you see it when he just drops it on the table and moves on. It was not like one of those, like, he's been sitting in the background.
No, he's been, like, thinking about it. Like, he wakes up, it's the first thing he grabs.
Yeah! It's been there, like, since part one, because we had to clear the corporation and stuff.
And it's like...
Yeah. Something? I don't know.
I mean, we don't even have... He literally just brings on his girlfriend and the audience. He has a sister. It's not like we know... Also, I think we did... Okay, alright, this is another thing. The backflashes came before the set. It's like they had the payoff before the setup. Okay. So you see his sister training before we see her fight.
Yeah.
When shouldn't it be... We're shocked with him that she can fight. And then she says, I've been training myself.
Yeah.
In the shadows.
Yeah, you just see like she's been...
But we see everything. It's like, it's literally... Like, this movie is literally out of order. I am not even joking. This movie is out of order. Because the payoff comes before the setup on most of it.
Yeah.
A good 90% of this film, payoff, setup, payoff, setup, payoff, setup. You see a problem with there? You know, it's like, we're going to show you that his sister... Okay, alright. A show that actually does this well. Ninjago.
Okay.
That's embarrassing. Ninjago. We know Nia... If you haven't seen Ninjago, you're going to be very, very lost. Warning. Nia is the only girl in a group of guys. Mm-hmm. And she is not a ninja. I'm talking first season. Forget that one season. She's in the first season. She's the only girl. She is their tech. She's tech support. Mm-hmm. She is basically Q. She tells them when things are going crazy. She does all the computer stuff. Because we see her do all of the computer stuff, and we kind of see her, she becomes a samurai thing. She builds herself a mech suit, and she builds herself all of this other things, and she can fight. And she can train and stuff. First off, she actually has a training course thing to play on. While we do know Nia is the samurai, mm-hmm. and the boys don't, it makes sense. We don't see her train. She just has the mech suit, and she has everything. When she runs into her brother Kai, and he's like, how the crap did you learn all this? We never taught you. She's like, well, you guys are always gone, and, you know, I was bored. I was lonely. I didn't have anything else to do. We know a couple of things. One, she is living with a bunch of dudes who have a training course. Mm-hmm. Two, she has actually been watching them, and she's very smart, she can figure things out.
She builds their gadgets.
She builds their gadgets. So the fact that she's also like, there are things I cannot do, and I need electronic help. So she builds electronic stuff that do what she physically cannot. Which makes sense because we know she's the techie. Mm-hmm. Alright? So this is like, so you could be saying, well, it's like that because we got the payoff before the setup. No, the payoff is the guys finding out.
Yeah.
The setup is the fact that she could do it. Alright? Switch over to Shang-Chi. The payoff is the fact that she's been training. The setup is that she whoops his butt in front of a whole bunch of people. You see the problem here? Alright? If she whooped his butt, let's say you did not know that she'd been practicing martial arts. Alright? Let's say, like, he's the only one who's been training. She was not allowed to train. He tells his girlfriend that she can't do any martial arts, kung fu
says she
stuff.
can't.
If he actually set up, she can't do anything, then she whoops his butt. The one would be like, wait, what the heck? And then when he asks her about it, she says, I've been practicing in the shadows.
Yeah. Made sense. Also, it's been 10 years, bro.
Yeah, and it's been 10 years, bro. Like, she could learn stuff in 10 years. I mean, you what? Like, you learned, so you had 7 years. She had 10 years. You had plenty of time. Mm-hmm. But yeah, so it's like...
6 of those she was moping over you, so...
Also...
Anyway.
Well, she's been training herself before then.
Yeah, true. So she's had a long time.
So she's actually had more training than him, because she was training around the same time he started training.
Yeah, she's had quite a bit.
Plus the 10 years he stopped training, so she would actually be better at fighting than him. Mm. Technically. But that makes sense, because, like, I've been training, I've been watching you train, I've been watching everyone else train, I've been training in the shadows, and then there's the 10 years when you weren't here and I had to protect myself.
Yeah.
So, actually, her beating his butt makes sense. Also, she's super ticked at him, so her beating his butt also makes sense there. Yeah. So I actually didn't mind that. But what I'm saying is, like, that the order of events in the story doesn't make sense, because it should be, she doesn't know how to fight, I have to protect her, I am her brother, she whoops his butt. And then it's like, you weren't there for me, I had to be there for myself.
Yeah.
Which would also sting a lot more.
Yeah.
Alright? In Ninjago, the payoff is the guys finding out. First it's Nia's brother, and then it's the rest of them. Right? Mm-hmm. And the whole point is, I'm the only girl in a boy club, and I'm not even part of the boy club. I just build the tech for you. I needed to be able to do something too. That was her payoff. And the boys realizing, oh, she can do things with her brains and talent. You know, that was the payoff in Ninjago. It's a completely different payoff. We do need to see Nia doing this. Mm-hmm. Because the payoff is the guys, not the fact that she can do it.
Yeah.
In Shang-Chi, the fact is she can do it. So the payoff is, I've technically had more years than you to train. Because that's actually 17 years of training.
Yeah.
If she's been practicing around the same time her brother has been training, because he had 7 years, so she'd have been training around then. And then there's a 10 years on top of that. She has 17 years under her belt. Mm-hmm. And a bunch of anger.
Yep. She has rage issues.
He doesn't have that. Mm-hmm. So technically, her being better than him makes sense in that aspect of the film. Mm-hmm. So I did not hate that.
No.
My one issue is that we don't see her practicing with anybody. She's just practicing against bamboo, which is like...
I mean, I guess especially as a shot fight club, you assume that...
Well, okay, that's what I'm saying. Like, I'm okay with, like, seeing, like, the fight club, because it's like, we don't know that in-between part. Like, she was training in the shadows. And also, I'd give her some scars.
Seriously?
You know, I've been training in the shadows, and then I was out in the real world.
I mean, also, okay, one thing.
Also, he should not have recognized her right off the bat. He hasn't seen her in 10 years.
Yeah, last time I saw her, she was a little pipsqueak.
Yeah, she was a little tiny child. She was still a pudding person when he left. Mm-hmm. You know, he should not recognize her. There should be something like the necklace.
Something
they're fighting. He sees the necklace and realizes the person he's fighting is his sister, and then he stops.
Yeah, also, why is she using her real name? They call him Busboy. Why is she using her real name?
That's true. They did use her real name.
That was weird.
That's true. But yeah, I did notice that, actually. But yeah, so it's like, yeah, it should have been he doesn't recognize her. He just goes into the ring. There's this woman. She's got, like, some scars. Mm-hmm. Instead of, like, battle scars, tough
also, why doesn't
girl.
He have any scars?
Yeah, no.
Every time he got, like, his dad looked disappointed. It's like he had this, like, cut on his cheek. Why doesn't he
why doesn't he have that? Yeah. He doesn't have the cut on his cheek. Anyway, but yeah, she should have some scars. And then she's like, well, you weren't there to protect me, so I protect myself. I trained in the shadows, and then he got into the real fights.
Yeah. Something?
That would have hurt. Because his whole thing is, I have to protect my sister.
Yeah, and then she doesn't need me anymore. So I kind of lost half my... Also, you ditch, dude.
Also, it's like, okay, so my sister doesn't need me, I don't want my dad, so there's really nothing holding me back from building the life I want, except...
Come on, Katie, let's go.
You know, and then you can find some reason for him to stick around.
Yeah.
So, or maybe he finds out his sister does need him, or his dad does need him, or something needs him. Or he needs to face his past and clear it up, or something. There is no through line with this movie.
No.
So that's my point.
The only reason it was there... Okay, no, I know what the through line... I know what the main character is.
Who?
It's the dumb bracelets. That's the only part anyone gives a crap about.
How much screen time do the dumb bracelets have?
They like a lot. Because, like, you introduce them, the Tenenbaums, ooh, mysterious past. Then the reason why Shang-Chi's able to beat the bad guy at the end. They are in the end credit scenes. Like, they are the only reason we have this movie is to have some dumb beaking, which is probably going to set phase 4 or phase 5 or whatever the hell Marvel's doing now. I don't care. It's like, those dumb rings had more personality. The reason this whole movie was this is because we needed a MacGuffin.
McMuffin?
Yeah, McMuffins. We need McMuffins! That's the only reason this stupid film is here, because we have more McMuffins!
Well, we gotta set up the next Marvel universe, so...
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We don't have the Tesseract.
Yeah, we don't have Tesseract anymore. So we need jewelry.
We need bracelets.
We need bracelets.
It's a girl franchise, and girls like jewelry.
Okay.
I mean, I actually thought those rings looked pretty bad.
I know, but I want a set. They're nice.
Like, that actually does look pretty sweet. Oh, did we cover everything? I'm trying to...
I'm sure there's more, but I don't know if I have enough brain power. Plus, I don't know how long your phone's gonna hold out.
So what'd you rate this? If we did a perfect salvageable or trash, what'd you rate this?
This is how nice it felt. Because technically, it's a salvageable for me, because there is elements of a half-decent plot in there.
If you
and
cut it
the
up...
performances were pretty solid. Like, this, even though how much I've heard of how some characters didn't have as much presence as other characters,
which is true.
Everyone, yes. A lot of these actors still did a good job with what they were given.
They tried.
They tried.
They put their heart into this.
They gave it their all. Even though the script gave them nothing, very much. They gave it their all. So I would give it salvageable, because I at least want a cool crime boss movie out of it. If you ripped this movie to pieces, you'd probably salvage one out of that. So I'm going to say salvageable. You got that face.
I really want to say salvageable. What was the category between trashes?
Trash is salvageable. Oh crap, what was it? I forgot.
Attempt? I don't know.
They tried.
Fart stiffing? If you want a good Chinese story that takes place in San Francisco, go read the Daosher Chronicles.
Yes.
The first book is called The Girl with
Ghost Eyes.
The Girl with Ghost Eyes. I'm currently reading the second book, The Girl with No Face. Those are good.
Yeah.
You know, they're not amazing. They're not like incredible literature, but they're way better than this. They're focused.
Yeah.
That helps. I do agree with Essi on there's a good movie. There's like 4 good movies.
Yeah, you probably could. Basically, you could grab anybody from this plot, and if you actually went through their stuff,
I even think Shang-Chi, the character, is salvageable. Like, you know, he's got the one side of him that's his dad is the I fell in love with someone who is nothing that I was, and I want a different life with her. That's actually a really cool idea, and the movie did nothing with that.
Yep.
The movie is just a big lot of flashy nothing.
Yeah.
And that's why I'm hesitant to say salvageable. Because it kind of is, but it's not.
Yeah, it had stuff, but I only say salvageable because it's like, I mostly maxed my brain with trying to rewrite the plot every time a new character walked on.
Yeah.
It's like, well, the guy in the mask, he's the guy who pushed him through all the training, was the reason for all this.
Yeah, there was no...
That guy died, like, really quick.
Oh,
I was so pissed.
That was hilarious.
That was the one death I was really mad about.
Yeah, because I wanted to see him face off against Shang-Chi a bit more.
Yeah, I wanted Kabuki Mask and Shang-Chi to fight.
There was a lot. Well, they had one fight.
They had one fight.
That was pretty good.
Like nothing, because it was like, there was nothing.
There was nothing. Yeah, this movie it's flashy, colorful, nothing. If you like that,
yeah, you'll enjoy it. You like it.
Her boyfriend did. He thought it was great.
Yeah.
I like more substance and through lines.
So I mean, if you want an excuse to get out of the house and go to the theater, go for it.
I'm actually tempted to do let's look at this communication-wise once it comes out on video, like borrow it from... borrow it from Top Hat.
Yeah.
And actually see the because oh my gosh. Yeah.
So we might have...
I have to go with lesser salvageable. The only reason it's not in trash is, story-wise at least, is there were 4 movies in this one film.
Yeah.
That I think I could have given a almost perfect to. Because there were some good scenes.
Oh yeah, there's some really great scenes.
That had absolutely no weight because there was nothing
behind them.
Yeah, nothing behind them. So, yeah, that was Shang-Chi or Shang-Chi or whatever you
I don't know
want
how his name
to
is.
call it.
It's an American knockoff at Shang-Chi.
Yeah, Shang-Chi. I did appreciate the Chinese words pronounced correctly.
That was nice.
Even Ben Kingsley didn't do too bad.
I know.
I was impressed.
Great.
It was good.
I mean, okay, I did like the Mandarin joke.
Okay, yeah, that was
The scared by a guy with the freaking orange. I mean,
Scared
that
of
was
an
half
orange.
funny, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's your humor I liked.
So, we might talk about this movie again. So
Yeah.
stay tuned.
Yeah, you come back, but...
But this is on night of seeing it thoughts.
Yeah, so...
I actually might just post this.
Anyway, we apologize in advance.
Take care.
More to come. Bye!
See ya. Thank you so much for listening. If you enjoy this content, make sure to follow on your favorite streaming platform. For all news and information about upcoming shows and what I'm up to, make sure to follow me on Facebook. If you wish to contact me to tell me either your thoughts on the episode you heard, or to give me suggestions on future podcasts, or maybe you'd like to co-host with me in a future podcast, you can either message me through Anchor, Facebook, or you can email me at Series of Lives Inc. All links are in the description box below. Make it a great day, and I will talk to you later. Bye!